Alrighty, good morning, guys. I just wanted to get together with Terry and myself to share with you some of the EHT stories that we have. I know some of you couldn't make it, so we're just going to record it so that you guys can see it. Really wrap your brain around what EHT is doing for people around the world, because for you guys to be getting this, it's a huge, huge deal. And I would definitely focus on knowing what EHT is, but not knowing too much to where you try to share too much information, but you can share stories. And so I think it's really important to hear the stories. So we have one of our brand partners out of Florida. Her name is Renee Villa, and she's got some stories to share with you about her daughter and her brother and other stories that has happened with her, and when EHT came into her life, what it did. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Renee. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Monique. Hi. Yes, I have a daughter. She's now 24 years old, and she was diagnosed at a very early age with some delays, and cognitive function was definitely delayed. She has epilepsy, and at one point in time, she had severe behavioral issues. So I had gone through a neurologist for years, 21 different medications, sometimes 5 or more at the same time, trying to battle the seizures, which then in turn created behaviors, which created delays because she wasn't sleeping. It was just this whole cycle of issues that was going on with her. And at one point in school, her freshman year of high school, they told me, you know, you can't really expect her to learn too much more. The only thing you can do right now is hope that she maintains her life skills and just basically lower my expectations for my daughter. And I wasn't giving up, but I was definitely at the end of my rope. So you know, I was in the skincare business with Miriam, and I would barely wash my face and do makeup, nothing that. And then EHT was introduced. And at the moment that it was introduced, listening to all the science and everything behind it, I felt like that was the exact reason why Miriam was put in my life, because I just wanted something to help my daughter. I knew it wasn't going to heal her brain, but I wanted something to give her help with her brain. And when we first got a box, I bought everything we could and I gave it to my daughter. And after the first 3 days, she went from sleeping 45 minutes, maybe once or twice a night, to 4 hours. And then the next night it was 6 hours. And then her moods and her behavior started changing. We used to not even like talk to her, no eye contact or anything when she'd walk through the house, because we were walking on eggshells. Anything would set her off just from, you know, just the grumpiness and the side effects from all her medications. And at that time, she was on 2 medications, and my goal was to get her off medications. And I worked really diligently with her neurologist, and I told her about EHT. She said, yes, give it to her. We started getting those immediate results with just the sleep, which was a benefit for us. But then also, within a week, she started interacting with us. Within a month, she started using, it sounds so weird, but like with her hands, it was hard for her to use doing like small tasks. And she came home from her job and she's like, oh, I'm using this gun at work. And I was like, what kind of job did I send you to? Because she works in a thrift store. And they were telling me that she was actually tagging, and she was able to do it like all day long with her hands and not get frustrated and not, you know, get all fumbled with it. And then she started remembering people's names that she saw on a daily basis. Her mood increased to be just more bubbly and more of the daughter that I used to know. And then she started learning sight words. She started doing her number recall. She can do math like on the calculator now. She's still making improvements. Some of these improvements, I know Monique's known my daughter for a long time, and even since Monique first met her, her improvements still, they're gaining, and we haven't missed a day of EHT for her. And the doctor said, give it to her often, give it to her frequently, because it's working, and also helps her eliminate her migraines when she doesn't have seizures. And I know there's no medical claims, but my daughter's medications went from 2 to none. All she has is her medical implant to stop her from having seizures and EHT. But they told me she was going to have her medical implant and at least 1 medication, which we successfully took her off of this last year. And it's just improvement after improvement, being able to do memory recall. And she can't ever tell the time of day, but she knows like day from night now, instead of, oh, yeah, I had breakfast and it was actually dinner 2 days before or whatever. She has like more awareness and is able to do her recall of events that happened in an appropriate time frame. So her story just keeps getting better and better. And I probably paraphrase a lot, but I'm happy to share any information, because it took a lot of toll on our family going through all the stress and trying to find what was best for her. And sleep obviously helped heal the brain, but then feeding the brain the nutrients that it needed, the doctor told us that that was definitely key in helping her get to where she needed to be with her medication. And then also EHT, I have a son who's on the opposite end of the spectrum. He is very gifted and was going through a master's program it was a year-long master's program, so an accelerated program. And he was at school and studying between 12 and 16 hours every day for a year. I think he got like 2.5 weeks off during that program. And he said, Mom, all my friends are trying to pound coffee and they're trying to do all this stuff to study, or they'll go out drinking the night before and then can't, function the next morning. He's like, oh, and I'm telling you, he was doubling up on EHT, take it in the morning and at lunchtime. And he goes, it wasn't difficult. He goes, it was actually, my master's program was actually easier for me to navigate than college was for me. And he attributes it to EHT. He did so much scientific research when I was giving it to his sister, because he was originally a psychology major, and it was specifically to make sure his sister was being taken care of. And he goes, everything in this is exactly what it says it does for the brain. And so I'd be stupid not to take it when all my friends are trying to take Adderall and everything else. He relied solely on EHT, and to this day still swears by it. Then my brother, the whole list keeps going on and on for my entire family. But my brother, he served in Iraq, and he had PTSD pretty severely, and he wasn't sleeping at all. He was constantly trying to keep busy and just really gruff, not really mean person, but just really gruff, and needed to keep things going all the time, and just wasn't doing well with his PTSD despite going to counseling. He refused to take any type of drugs. So when he saw what it did for Camry and her sleep, he took EHT, and he sleeps a good 4 to 6 hours at a time. And he really just changed entirely from the gruff, angry a little bit, I guess, PTSD emotions like going up and down all the time, to more even keel, and to sleep for 4 hours, even for my brother, is phenomenal. And he has steady energy. He works, he's the manager or the overseer of the city maintenance yard. And the stress of managing like 30 some people throughout the city for all the maintenance in the city, he was really starting to get gruff with them as well. And it caused him to have yet another promotion. I won't say EHT gave him the promotion, but I will say that it definitely made him mellow out to where he was able to problem solve a little bit more effectively and not be so reactive to things. And his counselor said, what type of mood pills are you taking? Because your mood has definitely changed. And he said, I'm not taking any pills, but I am sleeping 4 hours a day. And he said, oh yeah, and I'm taking this vitamin supplement. And he swears by it. And he tells all his friends about it all the time now, because it's definitely changed and impacted my family's life in so many different ways and across the spectrum, that EHT is always one of our staples in our family now. So thank you for letting me share. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to share all the time.
Awesome. Thank you, Renee. This is going to be good just to be able to share with our brand partners in general. I knew when everybody in her family started taking EHT, and I saw the progression, because I saw her daughter pre-EHT, and then I saw her a few months later, and then another few months later, and it was a huge difference. So you can just only imagine what that does just for everybody, the family, everybody around her, her life. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Thanks, Renee. If you have to go, I understand. You can go, and we can, hold on. There. Uh-oh.
I do have to go, okay. But thank you for letting me share. And it does. I mean, I used to not sleep because my daughter didn't sleep. And so it definitely took a toll on me too. And yes, the ripple effect of how it affects everybody in your family, even if it's just one person taking it. But I firmly believe everybody should be taking it. Thank you for letting me share, and I'm going to go.
Okay, bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you. Alrighty. Okay, so Ivana, you want to share? Oops. There you go. Go ahead.
Yes, actually, I was really excited to hear what Renee had to say, because I have a lot of friends, being in the military with PTSD, and her story is just great. I, on the other hand, I'm not diagnosed with PTSD whatsoever. What it created for me, being in the military, or just for everybody, it was memory. It was memory and focus. Just having so many things in life coming from all over the sides, you're so distracted and you become overwhelmed because you can't, because your brain is everywhere. My memory is going downstairs and not knowing why, because I know a lot of people can relate to that. And it was also actually just opening another tab on a computer and going into Google 2 seconds later, not remembering what I was just gonna Google 2 seconds ago. So that completely changed when I took EHT. I can actually focus. I know the memory. I'm not good in keeping calendars, and that's what also got me in trouble a lot of times, because I couldn't remember. I thought I could remember the appointments. With EHT, I could literally remember every single appointment I had. I didn't need a calendar, but keeping the calendar, it's a really good thing. I didn't need a calendar. I was able to finish all my reports at work on time because I was focused on it. I knew what I had to do. I could remember words I'm supposed to use because I wasn't even able to remember that. I ran into people. Before, there would be time I ran into people and they would be say, "Hi, Ivana, how are you?" And I would just look at them. I said, "I have no idea who you are. I'm sorry. I really don't." And that was very awkward, and that was really bad. There was a point of time where I was going to see a specialist just because of the memory issues. Those are people that I worked with 4 months when I was deployed somewhere for 4 months. And 2 months after I returned from deployment, they would come by and, I would see them in the store. They would say hi. I have no idea who they were. That completely changed with EHT. I can focus, I can remember things, I know what I'm supposed to do, and I remember people. And I can tell you one thing, that what happened when, I always get EHT, and there was 1 month that it wasn't on my order. You can feel it. You can completely tell the difference. You can feel it. You can feel, and I was telling that to my husband. I said, I am going back to my old self, and this is not funny. It is not funny when you have the moment that you feel so good, that you're so focused, you can accomplish, you remember things. You really don't think, oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind because my brain is like degenerating. I'm 40. But you can see it again. I do the same thing. I go downstairs. What was I doing? It takes a little bit, but it's just what EHT does. You can completely feel the difference. It's from absolutely amazing to absolutely, okay, I really don't know what I'm doing right now. So that's basically my testimony from right there. And I don't ever want to stop using EHT because it's just amazing what it's done in my life.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome, Ivana. Yeah, it's crazy all the stories, because there's stories from, young kids to teenagers to high schoolers to adults to, older grandparents that are having, massive results. And again, it may be different for each person. I mean, it is. If for each age range, it's going to be different. I know, children who have a hard time focusing at school are focusing better. And the teachers notice it. I mean, literally, we've had children who are on disciplinary action, about to be kicked out of school, start taking the product, and all of a sudden the teacher's like, what are you doing? Because this kid is now focused, he's sitting in his chair, he's getting better grades, what's happening. So you have that, and then you have the college students like, Ivana, Renee was talking about with her son, and just focusing better and getting better grades and just not needing all that other stuff, to keep yourself going and alert and awake. And I'm with you in the whole memory thing, just remembering a lot more. Also multitasking. I can multitask. Somebody can come over here or somebody can call and I'll go right back to what I was doing. I don't forget what I was like. I used to forget, well, what was that? What was happening? So a lot of that, and just knowing that I come from a long line of Alzheimer's and dementia, I want to keep my brain working optimally. And what I didn't realize when I first started taking EHT was that EHT was helping keep my brain running optimally. And if my brain is running optimally, the rest of my body starts running optimally. And I have heard stories about how people's eyesight started getting a little bit better. People's hearing got a little bit better. Their muscles, their aches, their pains, those started going away. And those are not medical claims, but they are the fact that you're running your brain optimally, so everything else starts running optimally. And I can tell you, when I started taking EHT, I don't exercise a lot, but I would, and before EHT, I would go for a hike, a 5-mile hike, and be just like, ooh, just out of wind, and I couldn't do it. And I can tell you, even though I don't exercise often, I could go for a 5-mile hike today, and I'm not like that. I can do it like no problem. And I know it's happening. I know it's because of EHT, because I saw that difference immediately within a few months of taking it, how I did a hike, and it was easy. So there's just all those little things that it'll help with. So I'll go ahead and, Terry, did you want to share anything, or should I stop the recording and then we can keep this? No?
What did you ask? I don't understand what you're asking me.
Sorry, did you want to share something before I stop the recording?
I just know I won't go a day without it. If I miss, I notice. Because I notice I'm like, what is going on? And then I realize I hadn't taken it. So yes, no, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. So let me go ahead and stop it, and